Absolutely. And as a team manager and building teams and looking to the future, just maybe quickly, do you think 30's enough?
Oh,
Like there are
I
a
don't
couple
know.
factory
Yeah,
teams that are not well, you guys weren't fielding riders. Like I understand it's like
yeah.
shit'll get off the pot. Like if you can't perform, cool. Maybe we've got to look at other options. But I'm just like, we've got a lot of riders not there. It's so nuanced. Times are tight. Laurie Greenland only just got into finals. Some other riders which we want to see in finals are not there. I don't know.
That's a
Like,
shame.
do
Yeah, no, that is a
do we want
shame.
more on finals day, but similar format? Like, I do love the format. I don't want to toot my own horn, but if you're not going to have protection, LCQ came up with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. No,
But
no, absolutely.
like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Part of me, this topic just keeps coming back. Like, come on, guys, can we have 50 maybe? Like, you don't have to broadcast them, but give more people's a shot at a final. Like, if you're wanting, what are there, 10 elite teams, then five more, then eight wild cards. I forget the numbers. How does it work again?
yeah,
Is that about the
yeah.
numbers?
Yeah, that's
So
about right.
say even if we're trying to get 15 plus, he's going to have some wild cards. We've got 20 teams. You're kind of forcing the teams to have two or three males. So that's already
Yeah,
way more than 30 riders if you were just trying to cut it
exactly.
down. So you like almost need 40 or 50 in the final.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you a little story. I won't mention the name because I don't know whether he'd be happy to mention his name or not. But this rider in Ludenville had a mechanical in Q1. He had a mechanical in Q2, didn't get through. He was absolutely raging, really frustrated. It's not on him. He had this mechanical happen twice. He's on a factory team, and chatting to him afterwards, he says, "Well, I'll tell you what, Al, just you wait until that happens to Loic, or that happens to Amory, or that happens to Loris or Jackson, and then let's see what happens." Because I think if you were on specialized gravity and Finn and Loic have two mechanicals and then they're not in the final, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, bloody hell, we're not. What do we do on Sunday? What goes on here? And that's a really tough thing. And I think that really is the problem. Is as the teams are getting bigger, as the race series is growing, the budgets that are required to run this operation are massive. Okay, so they're getting really big. It's quite a stressful thing to think about the money involved to actually get all of these people. Some teams are 18 to 20 people. You think about the transport cost, the accommodation cost, the food cost, the logistics cost, all of that stuff. It's exponential from what it used to be. So you need someone to pay for that. Now, if you go to a sponsor and you say, hey, look what we do, once that sponsor starts digging into it, either they're just going to want the media and the marketing and the social media coverage from you. So they'll look at, right, what's my reach in this area? Or they're going to be on a performance basis, i.e., we're going to get on TV with some of the best riders in the world. The difficulty is with 30 and with no protection, etc., etc. You have this potential. I think Trek went through it in Ludenville. Not one person in the final. I think we've seen these factory teams where not one rider has made it through, and that's really tough. And I think because that is getting so tough, you've then got these problems of the Amory DQ controversy. The Henry Kiefer still got points where someone was jamming his bloody chain guard with an umbrella. You still got Finn, who wasn't DNF because he went off the track or DQ'd. He still got points. These are the things that aren't consistent. And I think that will start to cause frustration, not from team to team, because we had a brilliant managers meeting at Leogang and sat down with all the managers and we're all on the same page, but we just want consistency, because if we're fighting over points and we're fighting to present our sponsors in the best light and get on TV, and then something happens that maybe forces your hand one way or the other and you can't compete, that's frustrating. At best that's frustrating. At worst it could cost you the opportunity of that sponsor sticking around.
Yeah, that's well said. I'm hearing, like, if you think of it as like a bigger ecosystem, and Warner Brothers is there, UCI, and you got all these teams, you got all this industry, and hopefully outside industry. We don't want to hop on that, but the potential negative effect is some teams don't have enough riders in enough finals, so they go, "Hey, but is it worth it? We want the TV. We
Yeah.
want to be there on finals day, let alone on TV. Like, if we bring sponsors in and they rock up to Leogang on a Saturday afternoon and they're drinking beers and hospitality and they can't shout for Trek Factory Racing's 2 or 3 riders, even if they're having an off weekend, but they could like spark a good one in the final and they could have got like 25th, 25th in the world.
Yeah.
But they got in
Yeah.
because maybe they had a mechanical in Q1 and then you're allowing more and then they build pace. Danny Hart being one of them. Like, I don't know, I want to see what Danny can do. Maybe he can turn it around come finals. We didn't have that opportunity. So I'm just saying holistically, like if we're trying to have these elite teams, like you're saying, everyone's being more professional, spending more money, but you're throttling. It seems like some people are going to get throttled enough that you're going to lose teams potentially. It could be one of
I'd
the
agree.
things that happens, right?
It could be one of the outcomes.
Yeah.
And, if we're going to more races again next year, which is the talk, then we're going to need more money. It makes the calendar, more spread out. So all of these things come into play. And I think the good thing for me is the riders seem to communicate well with themselves. They seem to be a good group. The managers are a good group. We don't seem to have any outliers in that respect. And honestly, I think that's really cool. It's nice to be able to chat with people and feel as though we're in it together. But there is no official, it's really hard to have that sort of as an official body. It's kind of like we're trying to present our case to the organization to say, look, we think this is the best for everyone. And the racing is something that we're also passionate about, and we want the riders to be excited by tracks. And I just wonder if Leogang stays exactly the same again next year, are the riders going to be excited about it? I remember talking to you previously when we were at Andorra a couple of years ago, and the riders were absolutely buzzing to ride that track. And that's when you get the best out of them, when they're absolutely this huge smile on their face. They've been going through a fresh loamy turn. They've been going through some dusty loamy soil. It's all, changing. They've got these little rhythms and lines they're doing. There's some good jumps for them to do. And that's exciting. And I think there's going to be some changes made to Val di Sole. I think they're taking the track down a slightly different route in parts. And that fills me with hope because, again, Val di Sole has been traditionally a very kind of very similar route down the hill. And although some people love it and it's the track they really love, you want it to be a safe track. And sometimes when you're at bedrock and you've got, lots of sharp rocks chucked in there, it does make it a bit more of a unforgiving place to go over the bars.
Yeah, I mean, well said. That's the nuances of downhill. Like we want new sections, we want new track. That's exciting. It's exciting on the broadcast. It's something to talk about for the riders, for the photographers, everyone. I would hope every year, like each track's forced to make a certain percentage new or revamped. It is cool.
That's
like obviously it costs money.
Yeah.
We've got to be honest. And I think the irony is everyone from each organization mostly wants the same thing. They're just going about it in a little different way. Like everyone wants exciting racing. Everyone wants TV ratings to go up. Everyone wants the sport to grow in inverted commas. Obviously, they have a different vision of how it grows. But like, we kind of all want the same thing. We just got to try